What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video, I want to talk to you about a nuclear war fallout shelter that you should be able to find near you, especially if you live in a rural area. So I'm out here in north central Pennsylvania where I live, and Pennsylvania has a lot of these old tunnels, railroad tunnels. Pennsylvania also has a lot of old mines, but there's a ton of abandoned railroad tunnels in Pennsylvania. And the reason why is during the turn of the last century, Pennsylvania was heavily mined and logged. There's a lot of natural resources in Pennsylvania, lots of lumber and lots of coal. And so 100 years ago, the whole area here was ravaged by coal companies, logging companies, lumber companies, paper companies, and they built a ton of railroads everywhere to move the minerals and wood and everything. And now a lot of these train tracks are defunct. Nobody uses them. And as a result, there's lots of tunnels that are abandoned, and they're just, sitting around, not being used. And so a train tunnel is an excellent fallout shelter. So let me just show you guys this tunnel here. All right. And it's pouring out right now. But tunnels are excellent, and the reason why is tunnels, number one, they're underground, and they're surrounded by earth. This particular tunnel was built into a mountain. You can see this mountain over here. So they built this tunnel so they could go through this mountain. And so, these tunnels are super long. And so you're getting distance, you're far away from the radiation. If you get into the middle of the tunnel, you're far away from the radiation, which is going to be coming from the fallout that settles on the ground right outside the tunnel. So if you get into like the middle of the tunnel, that's going to be the safest part. Look at this thing, guys. This thing is just covered by earth. Look at all the mountain over the top of it. This is an excellent fallout shelter, excellent even bomb shelter, although there's no nuclear targets here. But this is like a natural bunker, and just so much earth on this thing. So it's perfect for a fallout shelter. You got your distance and you got your shielding. So, look for any kind of tunnels like this in your area, either active or abandoned. Abandoned is better, obviously, but, after a nuclear war, you're not going to have trains going around and moving freight or whatever. So any kind of tunnel like this is excellent. If you live in a rural area and you don't have any, basements, or you don't have any big buildings you can get to with basements, any reinforced concrete buildings, you don't have them in your area, this is an excellent option, okay? If you live in Appalachia, like I do here, or Appalachia, as people in the South say. Here in the North, we say Appalachia. Down South, they say Appalachia. So don't mind my Yankee accent, but this is an excellent area. It's also extremely secluded. So, look for some tunnels, guys. Excellent area. This would also be a very good area for like a guerrilla war camp. If there's like a Red Dawn scenario and we get invaded by communists from Russia and China, if the Russians, the Chinese, the Cubans, they all team up and they invade us from multiple sides, this is a great area to set up like a camp because it's secluded. You're completely protected from aerial observation, any kind of thermal cameras from overhead if they fly overhead here with some kind of drone or some kind of plane with thermal, they're not going to see any heat signatures. If you set up a camp in there and you have a campfire and a whole camp, you could fit hundreds of people in this tunnel like this, and you have natural insulation, you have a natural microclimate in there. So it's an excellent area for not just a fallout shelter, but also for like a guerrilla war camp. You know, if we get invaded, which I don't think would ever happen, but you know, you never know, or some kind of dystopian government in the future that hunts down Christians, like the Bible talks about, how in the end times Christians are going to be hunted. This would be an excellent area to seek refuge, into one of these tunnels here. You know, you're not going to give off any kind of thermal signature in there. You can hide hundreds of people in there, and there's not going to be any thermal signature. You can set up a camp in there, like a base camp. It's just a really good area, guys. Excellent area. So try to find something like this. Look at all this earth around this thing. I mean, the fallout's not going to affect you in this kind of a tunnel. I mean, you got solid rock. Look at this rock here. Just solid rock all around this tunnel here. It's literally built into the mountain. So just an excellent area for fallout shelter, and also, you know, for a situation where you're a Christian and you're being hunted by the government. So I'm gonna actually go in here. I'm gonna head in here and just take a look inside, see what's in there. It's pretty crazy. Man, this tunnel is so old. Looks like it started to cave in. Kind of afraid to go in. It's deteriorating a little bit up here. Look at that. It's deteriorating a little bit. I don't know if I want to go in it anymore. Oh, having issues with my light. Look at this. It's deteriorating. Some of the rock here. Look at this. This little piece here, check this out. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of... Wow. It's a huge tunnel here. Oh my gosh. Deteriorating up there. Yeah, I'd go a little more, but my flashlight's not working too well. Having issues with it, and I didn't bring a spare, so I don't want to go halfway in and get stuck without light. But it's in pretty decent shape. I mean, it is deteriorating a little. The ceiling is deteriorating a little bit, but you know, you don't have to go all the way in. I mean, even if you're just, you know, right here, just inside a little bit, you're going to get protection. But, you know, if you go further in, that's when you're going to get the maximum protection. But you can see the ceiling here is deteriorating a little bit. This is an old tunnel, so there is a chance of a cave-in. I'll have to come back here with 2 flashlights so I can really explore it, but man, it's creepy in there. It's like one of those horror movies, or like that Metro video game. But it's definitely deteriorating a little. You can see some cave-ins here, but you can see they built this tunnel right into the rock. Look at that. Check this out. So it's just surrounded by rock, covered in earth, but there's some small cave-ins down there. Let's see, a little bit of a cave in there on the side. It definitely looks old, but you don't have to go all the way in, you know. And there's water leaking through the ceiling here, dripping through. But it's still in pretty good shape. So, just wanted to show you guys this, you know, great shelter option for nuclear war or for World War III, or a situation where you're a Christian and you're being hunted down. It's a great area. It's definitely very secure. But this tunnel goes far, and I only have one flashlight, so I don't want to go all the way in and have my light get screwed up and be stuck in the dark. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I might come back here with a second flashlight and explore it. Go all the way to the other side, but it's a big tunnel. It hooks around. It's probably like I don't know, a quarter mile, half a mile long, and it just hooks around. So look at this thing. Crazy. Wow. 1901. Look at that. Wow, so this is old. Got some rocks that caved in over here, look. So this could be a plan B or plan C for me. If for whatever reason my area gets compromised, this could be a good bug out location too. You could bug out to one of these places, set up a camp in there. You'd be in really good shape. The ceiling's not in that bad shape. You can definitely see some cave-ins here. Some pieces of concrete that caved in. But it's still pretty solid. I wouldn't feel bad being in here. Looks like they made it from some kind of stone or something. I mean, they built things really solid back in that time. You know, 1900s. It's definitely a creepy tunnel though. Just totally soaked. It's raining like crazy. But check that out. Looks really cool. And what's really good about this tunnel and a lot of tunnels is that you could be flying right over this thing and you wouldn't even know that it's here. I mean, look at how well camouflaged it is. You can barely see it just from ground level. It took me a little bit of time to find it. And, you know, if you're flying over and you don't know exactly where this thing is, it's not going to be easy to find. So if you're being hunted by communists or some future dystopian government. It's not going to be easy for them to find these kinds of places. So, I mean, it's just really secluded here too. It's a very secluded area in general. So this is an excellent spot to bug out for a guerrilla war camp, hide from a dystopian government, nuclear war fallout shelter, communist invasion.